today is absolutely massive. If you know exactly where I'm going with this. NVIDIA earnings after the bell today. That is the story. That is what is coming down the pipeline, and it's gonna be huge. So, couple things to note about NVIDIA earnings. If you are somebody who trades the indices, this is going to be really big. And if you're somebody who doesn't trade the indices, it's still going to be really big because NVIDIA, you have to think about where global sentiment is, right? If you're going to be somebody trading Forex or gold or you're trading indices, NVIDIA earnings still kind of matters. And I'll show you why. Let's say you're somebody who trades gold. Why would NVIDIA's earnings report matter to you? Well, if NVIDIA earnings come out really good, let's say we get the big thumbs up from Poppy, we get the big A-OK from NVIDIA, meaning NVIDIA earnings smash expectations, they raise guidance, and things look really good for NVIDIA. How would that impact the stock market? Obviously, it's going to be a positive because the stock market, the S&P 500, I think it's like 7% of its entire weighting of the entire index is actually NVIDIA's stock performance. It might actually even be greater than that. I think it is in the NASDAQ. So the health or lack of health in NVIDIA's earnings report today will be monumental in whether or not the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 make legs higher. Are we going to see, NVIDIA take out the highs? Now, I also want to just mention something about the game plan for NVIDIA, okay? NVIDIA, I was listening to someone speak on this. Please check it yourself. Don't take my word for it. I believe that somebody was commenting that the implied or expected move for NVIDIA is a 10% swing in either direction on the stock. That puts you guys in terms of where NVIDIA could be by the end of today. It could be, and this is of course if the options market is right. Usually, if anything, the options market is a little bit overly cautious in their expectations. I wouldn't actually be surprised if NVIDIA is like up 5 or down 5 by the end of the day. But let's just go off the market's expectations for a second. If the market sees NVIDIA's earnings do really well and we see a 10% up move or a 10% down move and the stock price of NVIDIA, what would that do? Well, it would be a huge swing on the S&P and the NASDAQ, but more so than that, for people who trade gold, the dollar, for people who trade the indices, this is a pulse check on how the economic outlook is going to be going forward. Now, let me be clear about something. Some people who may not be following this as closely as, some of us have, may think, oh, well, NVIDIA is going to miss their earnings. I think it's going to, what if NVIDIA misses? The chances of NVIDIA missing their earnings are incredibly low. But if you're a bear, don't lose all hope, because that doesn't necessarily mean the stock price can't go down. And this is the confusing thing to especially new stock traders or people who watch stocks. If you're new to this stuff, this can be very confusing. Earnings could actually be great and the stock price could actually drop. How so? Well, earnings we've seen from Microsoft and Meta and Google and Amazon, the big customers of NVIDIA and the chip, semiconductor producers. We've already seen from them in their earnings reports that came out in previous weeks that the demand for chips is very strong. So earnings are almost certainly going to be very good today for NVIDIA. The question is not whether or not NVIDIA's earnings today are good. The question is whether or not forward guidance, right? This stock trades based on its forward PE, right? The forward price to earnings. Going forward, is NVIDIA going to grow into its oversized pants or not? There's huge expectations for this stock, absolutely massive expectations for growth for this company. If you want NVIDIA stock to go up or down, it's all about this piece of information right here. If you think NVIDIA is going to knock it out of the park with their earnings, then guess what? Everyone else thinks that too. That's not what's going to move the market. If you think going forward, the projection for earnings from NVIDIA, which are already projected to be very high, if you think they're going to bump those numbers higher, then that's a bullish catalyst for the stock. You have to take, it's kind of like, I'm not a sports guy, but let's say you can think of your favorite athlete, let's say Ronaldo, right? Everyone knows Ronaldo's going to be incredible. They know he's going to be great, but let's just say he comes out and starts, being even better than expectations, right? That's the equivalent of NVIDIA. NVIDIA's been doing that for years. So I'll say this, if you ask me, am I bullish or bearish on NVIDIA going into it? I mean, I'm currently already long the stock. That doesn't mean the stock can't drop. I could be wrong about this, but they have a pattern of beating expectations and raising guidance beyond where it currently was. That's why the stock has been a monster. It earns a lot of money, but it also projects going forward that it's going to make even more money than people thought it would. So this is, if you're somebody trying to get into stocks, you're trying to figure out stocks, it is all about forward expectations of earnings, not looking in the rearview mirror, although that can, be important to understand the valuation of a company. It's all about the future. You got to think, if you have a business today that produces a little bit of money, but you know that you've got a big event coming up that's going to massively boost your income for your business is worth a lot more than what it's made in the rear view mirror, right? That's the thing.
Market analysis, free trading courses, edge finder data, and special offers. What do these things all have in common? They're all available for you right now inside of our free Discord. You can click the link down in the description below to join the free Discord today and get access to all of this and more. Stay up to date with all the latest trading information and A1 content. And if you want to upgrade to our Gold VIP Discord that features every single trade that Trader Nick and our other professional analysts take, you can find the links for that in the description as well. So don't wait, go check out the free Discord today.
Expected earnings today for the NVIDIA earnings report. Revenue is estimated to be $28.737 billion. Anybody got that kind of money sitting around? If you do, I'll give you my phone number. Maybe you could take me on a trip. But my point is, you got massive amounts of expected revenue here. And most likely, guys, they're going to beat that number. Most likely. Most likely, they're also going to beat their estimated earnings per share, which is 0.645. They're going to probably beat both of these numbers. If they don't, get ready. Because if you're somebody who thinks they're going to surprise to the downside and they're not going to beat these numbers, you're going against the herd for sure. You're definitely contrarian in thinking that, because we've seen all the earnings reports for the big customers. They're going to be making a lot of money. The question, though, is going forward, projecting into the future, their guidance on what they think they're going to earn is very, very important. Semiconductors as a whole make up a big chunk of my portfolio right now. So today could be a really great day for me, or maybe I have to give back some of my gains on this SMH trade that I've had. I'm to be determined what I want to do with my positioning here. I don't usually make big adjustments based on this stuff, but I may choose to look to trail a stop on my SMH trade, which has gone really well. I've got a really nice gain on this, but I'd maybe like to lock in something in case we get a big surprise to the downside today on NVIDIA, causing the semiconductor industry as a whole to go lower. We'll see. Taking a look at gold here, I'm also long GLD this morning. Taking a look at gold spot price, we can see again, sort of chopping around. You've got, a bit of indecision here. I would say that really the big decision point is these levels here. So I'm talking about specifically the all-time high, about 25.30, let's call it, and the big support zone where buyers really stepped in, where I stepped in and bought some myself, around 24.75, let's call it. So from a gold just purely talking price action for a second, if you get a big break to the downside, then perhaps sellers start taking over. And if you get a big break through the highs, buyers, again, continue to look good. Now, I know I kind of covered my bases there and just said, it could go up or it could go down. But if you listen closely, what I'm really saying is that if you take out these highs and you close above them, buyers are fully in control. And in my view, I'd be looking to add potentially to my position, looking to buy retests, etc. And if sellers are able to take out these lows, then that would be a very bearish signal, perhaps signaling more downside to come. Right now, where we currently sit, I lean bullish. I think we continue to move higher until something changes, because right now seems like the path of least resistance is for the Federal Reserve to begin cutting interest rates. And without overcomplicating it, that keeps me pretty bullish on gold. We can see on the top setups algorithm that gold is getting a bullish reading. We also have bullish readings on the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones, which, by the way, SMH makes up a big component of the NASDAQ, and I can't talk on it because it's top secret. But let's just say that another little tool that may be in the works right now also is signaling SMH. I don't know. Come on, Russell, give us a little bit more upside. I'm long IWM currently, giving back some profits on this one. I will stay in the trade unless we take out this low here. So on IWM, I'd love to see this thing actually take back the highs. Let's do this. So this is kind of where I think price is going to go ultimately. However, if I'm wrong about that, so I entered on this big drop here, went long IWM, which is the Russell 2000 index. It's had a nice bounce back this year in the second. Well, it's underperformed the other ones, but it's had a nice bounce back recently. And my thought process on this is that with the Fed expected to cut interest rates, I'm a buyer on dips on this one. And my thought process for this is that I'll stay in the trade unless we give back all those gains. So this was the Fed. This was when Jerome Powell gave his very dovish speech. Fed came out, Jerome Powell came out, made his announcement, that they think it's appropriate to now begin the process of cutting rates. That was super dovish. And then the markets popped. The last few days, they've been giving back some of those gains, which I think is fine. And I'm not, too worried about that. Unless we come down to this consolidation, we should see a reaction to that area. If we don't continue to see buyers stepping in, then that would be a signal for me to cut the trade and just take profits. So if we, I'll take a lot less profit if we hit this than where I'm currently at, but I would just rather cut the trade and look for an opportunity to re-enter at a better price if it's not reacting to areas like this. So I want to see that consolidation hold after the big breakout. If you see something like this, big break and a retest that area, for me, price action wise, I really want to see that area hold very nicely. Otherwise, what's the deal? Like, is something, it loses that decisive uptrend factor. So I'm watching it close. The Russell is, something that I am very bullish on this year, but price action has to agree for me to stay in the trade. All right, let's take a look at the dollar index. Dollar index here bouncing a little bit off of that 100.55 level. At the top of this week, I was discussing that I think that it's possible that the dollar index has a little bit of a move back up. I'm not betting on this. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I think it would be very normal for it to happen, if that makes sense. So I'm not buying the dollar here. I'd be more interested in selling it on a retest of an area like the 50% retracement. So if we get this move, I think that would just be a very normal pullback in a downtrend to look for continuations on the dollar bearish setups.
This is EuroCAD. Really, really good trade. Actually, I've been in for quite some time. So I actually had my first entry on EuroCAD here after we had these daily highs formed and then sort of bearish sentiment came into the markets on the H4. So I took an initial entry here. However, the market started to come back up. I scaled in right here, almost at, the perfectly wrong time. However, the thesis was fine. We just saw a slight continuation of the bullish trend before now starting to finally have this drop off. So what I want to show you is the seasonality behind EuroCAD. So I've been in since here, which was the 5th of August. I plan to get out on the 6th of September. So currently it's the 28th. So let's find that. So here, there we go. So over the course of 24 years, if you shorted or took short positions every year for the past 24 years between the 28th of August and the 6th of September, you would have won 7 trades. And sorry, if you went long, you would have won 7 trades and lost 17. So if we're shorting, that obviously means we would have won 17 and lost 7. So the seasonality behind EuroCAD at the moment is very, very strong. And we're seeing that start to come into play here. So the 6th of September is coming quickly. So by this time frame, by this date, I will be out of the trade regardless of where we are in terms of price. I will be completely out of the trade because this is a trade based on time rather than anything else. There are economic factors behind this, but you know, the final catalyst for this trade, or the main driver for this trade, was based on seasonality. How to use TradingView? Can anyone suggest some videos? Just YouTube it. There's countless videos. I just realized I'm halfway off the screen. There's countless videos on how to use TradingView. I'm not sure if Nick's got any. I'm sure he does it somewhere. But if not, there's a lot of videos there. Thoughts on euro dollar? So I am currently short euro dollar. In fact, I can show you. So I've got my copy trading account open here, and this is essentially just where I place the trades for clients on their behalf. So this is very small capital. You can see it's only got $1,300 in it. But yeah, I've been shorting euro dollar here since basically the tippy top. So this was on the 26th, so 2 days ago, placed a short in euro dollar. And the reason was it was basically looking for a reversion. So if we look on the daily, very, very overbought. Now, this isn't necessarily undeserved buying. I think it made sense for euro dollar to be bullish during this period. However, I don't think that we could sustain this for much longer without having some sort of pullback. Now, we might just get 50% pullback, and then that would be a trigger to start looking for some more long-term positions to the upside, especially as we're heading into rate cuts. However, as I said, it's more of a reversion. So if we look at the 200 moving average compared to where we were, it was about 3.3% above, which is a bit, you know, that's a bit high in my opinion, along with reaching this level of resistance. And then we had this bearish daily candle form. So I was a bit like, you know what, let me take a stab. It's small risk. We've got tight stop loss, so happy to do that. And so far it's working out. You know, we've got quite a bullish dollar on the day, bearish euro, bearish pound, and the yen is looking bearish as well. So it seems like I've caught that trade perfectly so far. Perfect rejection at 1.12. Yeah, I mean, that is my thoughts. I'm currently in short positions. However, whether that will last, I don't know. As for trades, got EuroCAD, still in my copper long position. It's in drawdown. We're also in natural gas. We're in a short position here. It's only a 1-to-1, so not crazy. However, this is just a sort of a small, quick play. Now we've also got gold here. So what I'm doing on gold is I'm collecting buy signals. So I'm not sure if Nick watches from behind the scenes when he's not here or not, but Nick will understand this more than I do so far. I'm still a small fish in a big pond in terms of audience size. So when I take a position, it's not too often I'll get people start filling in their opinions. However, I did with gold. So I'm marking these up and I'm going to keep them here, as buy signals. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's possible gold could come back down, have a profit taking period where we see a drop off and then continue up. However, I just don't see any world where gold is bearish. And what I have to back that up is not just Twitter screenshots. Hold on, let me just pull something up for you guys. So we had another news article published today. This was on FX Street, but it's by TDS. A period of high, excuse me, a period of high deficits, slowing growth, sticky inflation, currency devaluation, and imminent cutting cycle has already attracted capital towards gold's warm embrace. TDS senior commodities strategist Daniel Gali notes visible short positions remain near decade lows. So this is, that's quite important. So there's not been this little amount of short positions in gold for decades. So I won't read all this, but as I said, it's on FX Street. Just search for the article title if you want to go and read it. But it's just article after article, bank report after bank report, data after data that just suggests gold is going to continue to the upside. And as I said, in the short term, we might have a profit-taking period, which could stop me out at break even. And I'll be perfectly honest, I would love to see that. I'd be more than happy to get stopped out here, see price come down, and then continue to the upside. And the reason is because then, let's say, for example's sake, we come down to here, so around anywhere, so 2400, let's say. This would allow me to get in gold at a cheaper price and ride it to a higher price. So it's just a better entry. That's the way I would see gold at the moment. There is no catalysts for shorts, and that's just as simple as it is. And it's not necessarily a case of this is my opinion. It kind of just is the data at the moment. Hannah Lulu, copy trading is application only. It's not for it's not for lower capital clients. So if you've got sort of 10 to 20,000 in capital or above, you can go to our website and apply. However, it's not a service we built for sort of just everyone. What's your thoughts on dollar CAD? Let's see, dollar CAD. We should be having a pullback on dollar CAD. Yeah, we kind of are. What's the dollar doing? Yeah, so dollar CAD is quite clearly in a very strong downtrend. However, it's a similar situation to a lot of other pairs at the moment. I think we're very overextended. I think realistically what we're going to see is a mix, or well, mainly some profit taking, and that will also allow sellers to come into the market to continue to push price down. Because at the moment, sellers won't want to get in at this price. We've had 3 consecutive bearish days, and since we've also had basically a month of non-stop selling on dollar CAD. So any serious sellers looking to get in won't be selling at this price, more than likely, unless they're averaging into positions. But yeah, the way I view it is we need to have some sort of pullback, and that's essentially what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for a pullback from the low to sort of 50%, so maybe 150 pips. This would also allow price to catch, it would allow the moving average to catch up with price. So the 200 red moving average you can see here, that would sort of stabilize a little bit. So yeah, that's sort of the way I see it. Gold usually drops in September. Yeah, however, there's just not any data to back that up. If you're using seasonality and historical data to trade, you still need to match it with things. You can't just go, okay, well, it's bearish in September, I'm going to start selling. Because it might be bearish 6 out of 10 years, but there's still those 4 years where it could be bullish, and it could have been bullish for a good reason. I wouldn't be looking to get into long-term dollar positions just because we still need to see NFP. NFP is going to be quite big. It's going to be very sensitive. So the way I see NFP is if we get 160, actually, let me pull up the edge finder so I can sort of visualize it for you here. So this 114 that we had was kind of a shock. No one really expected it to be this low, and it's the lowest we've had all year. I don't expect us to go close to 114 again. I would suggest the next one would possibly be 120, and that's been low. So if we get if NFP is it next week or the week after? I think it's next week, comes out at 120, that would still suggest weak labor market, which would then in turn shift my bias more towards a 50 basis point cut. However, if we get something closer to 160, that would show an improvement, which would then possibly shift it more towards a 25 basis point cut over a stretched period, so 25, 25, 25. So yeah, I mean, just because of that, I don't want to really get into dollar positions for the long term. However, if you are looking to get in for, you know, some sort of short position trades, so whether it's, you know, day trades or intraday, so sort of a couple of days, maybe you could start looking to go long off the support. You would need to account for the previous low down here, so stop somewhere there, and you would just need to pay very close attention to the DXY. Now, if the DXY can close bullish for today, if we can sort of close like it is, so engulf the previous daily candle, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad position to be in, although you are counter trend trading. So obviously you need to apply your own strategy and analysis to it. Are we going up or down on the DXY? It's currently up, but in terms of where it's going, I wish I could tell you, because then I would be a trillionaire. But unfortunately, no one can really tell you if it's going up or down in the future. I am looking to get into pound CAD. Actually, I think it's still the top reading on Edge Finder, which it is. So you can see here. Sorry, 1 second, just reading the message. Yeah, so you can see here, pound CAD, top bullish reading. Let me just load the data. Seasonality looks okay. COT is flat. Retail sentiment, seasonality, trend, GDP, manufacturing, employment and unemployment all favoring this. The only negative thing is retail sales, but you know, it's fine, I think. In my opinion, that's not a problem. So yeah, really looking for this pullback here to the sort of 50% level. Somewhere around here would be fine. And I wouldn't be looking to take this too high. Going back to what I was saying earlier about being quite bearish on the pound, it would more be just playing the current data rather than playing what I expect to happen in the future. So it would be a short-term trade. Stop loss possibly quite tight around here. So at the 1.76 roughly, and taking it sort of 50% into this level of resistance. And yeah, we'll take it from there. But yeah, guys, if there's any more questions, let me know. I'm not sure. I don't think there's anyone else after me again today. Let me just double check, make sure I'm not running over. Yeah, okay, so it's just me. So that's fine. If you've got any questions, feel free to shoot them through. If not, let me see. Actually, I've not checked today if the Fed watch has changed. I know it decreased slightly. Was it yesterday? Yeah, so it is decreasing. So a month ago we had an 11% expectation of 50. Then it was 38, so we had a jump. I think, yes, this would have been after we had such a shocking NFP. Then it went down to 36, now it's 34. And we can see that the 25 basis point is increasing. So that's telling us that the markets are more expecting 25 basis points. However, 50 seems to be priced in already.
Did you know we do a live trading show Monday through Friday with guests from all over the world? To get notified when we go live, click the bell button next to the subscribe button or check in at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We have helpful, free content in the description below and on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you tomorrow.